Good evening, everyone, and hope you all are doing well. I welcome all the parents today for this live session on parenting. And I want to open the session by welcoming all my parents. Thanks for taking out time and joining us. And while the others are also joining, we're just kind of warming up. Just want to thank First Cry and Telly for giving me this lovely platform where I, get to talk to my lovely parents, lovely audience. So thank you, First Cry. And while I can see people are joining in, um, let me give you a small introduction about myself. Hi, I'm Dimple, and I'm a mindfulness, parenting, and character strengthening coach. I work with children, I work with parents, and I work with the corporates. So I work in the space of mindfulness. I work with educators on making our curriculum better by using and clubbing mindfulness with it. So we'll be talking about it during our course of session, and as many of you will keep joining in between. But right now, let's talk about a bit how this session is going to be. Um, Today we are going to talk about how we can mindfully develop social skills in our toddlers. Okay, so in our children, young children, and believe me, uh, the younger we start, the better they are, because the sooner we start working with our children and a little mindfully, you will see the results while they are growing, while you're raising your children. So um, let's talk about social skills. In a while, I'm just waiting for a few more parents to join in. I'm getting good evening messages. Thank you so much for lovely greetings. It kind of boosts up your confidence that you have your parents there watching you live. I can see the numbers raising. So again, would like to thank you first Try and Telly for giving me this lovely platform, and to my lovely parents. I completely understand that during these times the parents are very busy with juggling between multiple roles, and I'm sure the tiny ones are around, and it's very sweet of them to take out time, and they want to know more about mindfulness. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful way of raising children. It's beautiful for us as individuals to be a little mindful. I'll tell you more about it as we'll go further in the session. And to open the session, I would like to make you think, make you be a little mindful about a fact that what is the importance of social connections around you? What do you think, and why do you think it is important for us to be, socially connected around? You know, if you ask me, we as humans are inherent, you know to social connections. As soon as the child is born, the child starts looking for the one who's going to take care of him or her. So that's how the first bond gets created. And we we are actually meant to live like a tribe, like a group, bonding with one another. So it is in us. We want to be, we love to be belonging to a tribe. We love that feeling of togetherness. We love that feeling that we belong to a certain tribe, we belong to a certain fraternity, we belong to a certain family. And that's how we socially are connected as citizens of the world, then citizen of our respective countries, then our states, then so on and so forth, and then coming zero down to our own families. So social connections are extremely important, and a parent has a very important role in raising a child and taking care of the social skills of in a child while the child is growing. But even before that, there is something that I want to take your focus upon. See, when as a parent, when you hold the little one, even before that, when you decide, you think of becoming a parent, when that thought arrives, the first question which comes to your mind is, what best can I do to, have a healthy baby? That's the first concern a parent has. Okay. And starting from there, there'll not be a single moment when a parent, a mother or a father, is not thinking what's best for their children. That's what parenting is. So we take care of what best can we eat during pregnancy, what we should avoid eating, what is good for the child, what is good for the skin, how he's going to, develop healthy hair, and things like that. And we do that. And when the baby arrives, we are very much concerned about the vaccinations, the way we are going to teach different things, physical activities, keeping him, clean and hygiene, and taking care of things around him, keeping him safe, carrying him safely, from small little things to huge things like his future investments, his education, his health, his best schools, best colleges, whatever we can do possibly best, we try and work upon it. But somewhere, I need to ask you that, do you mindfully or consciously think about social connections? Have you ever thought how your child is going to get connected to the world? Are you mindful about how your child is going to, be a boss tomorrow? What kind of a son your child is going to be like? I'm not talking about inheriting good values. I'm asking about his or her social connections here. We hardly think about, how we can make a child get best of social surroundings around him or her. How we have to, consciously work upon developing these social skills beyond just teaching them the basic manners. So we are going to talk about step by step about social connections and his social development, and how we can make it better. Okay. Um, the first question which during my sessions also parents ask me, what is the difference between social skills and mindful social skills? How to develop social skills? We parents are teaching their children how to eat well, how to greet somebody. What is it that mindfulness is adding to it? It's a lovely question. It's a very valid question. And the answer is, to develop these mindful social skills in a child, a parent need to be mindful about their parenting style as well. Mindfulness starts with us as parents, and then we give it to our children. Okay. So mindfulness means that, the definition of mindfulness is being in the moment. You are there, you're consciously there when you are connecting to your child, when you are making him or her aware about anything in life. You are there, you are consciously working towards it. And parenting means you are there, but maybe not consciously there with your child. You might be making your child eat food, but subconsciously thinking about something else. But mindfulness teaches you to be in the moment. When you are feeding your child, you're consciously aware of what you are feeding, how you are feeding, how your child is responding to the food you're feeding him or her. That's mindfulness. And that is the difference between teaching your children social skill and being a little mindful about them. So as we'll go ahead with the session, I'll get into details of being mindful about raising these social development, social skills in your children. Okay. Now, why do we need to be socially connected? Why? What will happen if I am not socially well connected? I have seen so many individuals that are they don't feel the need of having that social skill in them. And ironically, you can pinpoint those people. You can just pick them up and say, that person is not very well socially connected. That what happens. You get into depression. You get into the anxiety levels are very high. You're either too vocal or too quiet. Nothing is balanced within because you are not in a habit of reciprocating. Good, bad, ugly, that's another part of it. But you are not in a habit of reciprocating. You don't feel that you belong to any tribe. You're not being welcomed by any tribe. Same is the case with children. If you see that if you're not mindful about how well your child is socially connected, you will see while the child is growing, he will develop certain traits. The child will not be very comfortable, in the presence of other children around. The child won't be comfortable if you have a guest at home. He or she feels disturbed, and they don't have a regular eating pattern. They don't have a regular sleeping pattern. So your disconnect affects everything. It affects your personality, it reflects in your behavior, it reflects in the way you connect with people around you. And while you're growing, it simply keeps multiplying. And unfortunately, it goes from bad to worse. But if you're conscious about few things, which I'm going to tell you, then you will see that your child is going to turn into a beautiful, happy, well-connected human being. He or she will always be ready to face any kind of situation around them. They will not shy away from their surroundings. Not always that you're going to be in a company which is favorsome. They are going to grow into real world. They might like some, they might dislike some, but you need to skill them up to face the real world, to keep them happy and to make others happy around them. And it's very much possible. Just by putting in a few changes here and there in your routine, it is very much possible. Okay. If we are talking about young children, the first connection a child has is a mother. As soon as the baby arrives into the world, the mother is the first connection he makes. And you'll see that even a newborn knows the warmth of the hands who are going to take care of him. The first connection. They feel so comfortable. Even if they're whining, even if they're crying, they have some problem. As soon as the first connection touches them, they feel healed. That's the power of connection. Even when they can't express, they can't speak. So mother is the first connection. And then obviously the second connection is father. The fathers don't feel offended because mother is the first parent among the two of you. So mother is the first connection for a child, and then comes the father. And then from there, you have grandparents at home, you have uncles and aunties, you have siblings, you have cousins. And that's how a child gets socially connected to the world around. The family's first set of people he or she is going to get, attached to. And that's how from there he develops social connections around him or her. During our theater sessions, we are conducting live theater sessions. We have a live drama club for young children. And during our sessions, I keep asking these children, what do you miss the most? And all of them in one voice would yell, we are missing school, ma'am, we are missing our friends, we are missing our teachers. But if you'll just be a little, you'll just bring your attention to their words, you will realize all of them are missing connections around them and nothing else. They're just missing connection, their connection with their teacher, their connection with their friends, their connection with, children they were playing in the park with. They're missing connections. And you see that behavioral change while they are not connected, physically not connected with their friends around these days, with their teachers. You can see that emptiness. You see that, they're a little agitated. They don't know how to vent it out. They don't know, young children, they don't even know how to express what is in them. But they're missing the connections around them. So that's the power of social connections. Now, comes the role of a parent. Needless to say, you are the eyes the world, the child is going to see the world through. You are the language the child is going to understand and speak in tomorrow. So a parent has a very, very important role in connecting their children socially with the world around. You have to be very, very careful about few things. You are their first thread, okay? From you, through you, they are going to get connected. You are the first thread, okay? So you have to be very conscious about teaching them the good connections and the bad connection. See, children are very fragile. So, from day one, when you're teaching them to connect, it is very, very important that you are being conscious about how to connect them and whom to connect to. You have to be very, very vigilant about if you are connecting your children with the helpers at home, or drivers, or people around them, or your neighbors, or a relative. Be very conscious, be very, very conscious, because one wrong connection can damage a child mentally. So you have to be very fragile about how and where, with whom are you connecting your children with, and from there teach them the good connection. So the grandparents, their siblings, a good friend, tell them the importance of the other person in their life. Tell them, that it's lovely to have dada dadi around. It's lovely to have nana nani around. It's a beautiful connection we have in our family. It's lovely to have Mosi coming at home. It's lovely to have mama coming over for dinner. Isn't it lovely when we have relatives around? Isn't it lovely when your friend comes over and you spend a good time? Make children aware of the connections around them. Make them mindful about what is good these connections are bringing them. Tell them, how I see how happy you are when your cousin come over, how happy you are when bhaiya is playing with you. So this way children become aware of the connections around them. Second thing, never forget that you are their trust bank. You are the reason they exist, and through you they are going to learn the true meaning of world. They are going to face the real world, but that's a little later. But for them, you are their world. So you have to be the trust bank. Whatever you tell them is the final truth for them. So be very, very conscious about how you are telling them, how you are dealing with connections around you. When you are telling them about somebody, what kind of language that you're using. Are you being rude to somebody around you? Because they pick up, they trust you so much, they pick up these words, they pick up these styles, they pick up how you are connected to your friends, or to your brother or sister or grandparents or spouses to each other, and they kind of imbibe it. They kind of just take it without judging whether it's good for them or bad for them. They are not there to judge. They just mimic you. They just adopt whatever you're giving them. So you have to be very, very vigilant about that thing. Now, for a child, the literal meaning of a social connection is to bond with somebody that I'm going to invest myself into. For child, the connections are very few, very, very few. So they are very deeply connected to their parents, of course, but then with their grandparents, with their close friends, with their teachers. That's why you see when the toddlers graduate from one class to playway to the other section also, they're very adamant on the teacher they had the previous year or the previous month, and they don't compromise on that, because they're so comfortable with that connection already. They don't want to get disconnected. So be very fragile about this thing, that for them it's a very close bond. It's a huge stress. Lots of love and respect is going into these bonds at early ages. So as a parent, it is your duty to be very respectful about these bonds around them. I have seen some parents talking in any language about the helps at home. They sometimes scold them in front of these young children at home, or they might use wrong language to call out these people at home. Or as a matter of fact, I have seen some parents using wrong language for the teachers around. A child feels really bad about it, and he or she is not even aware that it is affecting his mental health. But you as a parent have to be conscious about it, have to be mindful about it. So these bonds around your child are very important to him or her. Be very mindful about the way you talk about these bonds, these people, these connections about around your children. And af- and then there is a hierarchy of bonds. Okay, there is what we call a graph of bonds and graph of social connections for your children. It begins with, obviously, with mother. From there, father, grandparents, your immediate family is your first social connection. If that foundation is brilliant, then you have a happy, confident child at home. Okay, so as a family, not only you and your husband, as a family, make grandparents a part of it, make other elders at home a part of it, and together raise a happy child. Together raise a child, give him unconditional love, and loads of respect towards each other. And you will see that a child will truly respect every relationship around, every bond, every social link around them. Okay, then the second level of any social connection is somebody who is very special, not only for the child, for you and me also. Somebody who might not be a family member, but a person outside our family that we really bank upon. When we are in a certain age, that might can be somebody that we love, somebody that we are attracted to, somebody who's important in our life. But in younger children also, sometimes this role is played by the teacher, or somebody in a neighbor, who's very close. You have to be very careful who this person is, because beyond family, this person plays a crucial role. If a child is socially very well connected to somebody who is not good with the way he or she conducts himself in front of others, then you will see the child is very easily picking up those wrong habits, this wrong way of talking, the wrong way of greeting. If you see, generally it is seen that younger children get glued to the older ones in the park, and from there, if sometimes they pick a few words, they don't know the meaning, but they start using them. They will see that, I have seen my best friend talking to his or her mother in a specific way, and I am also going to use that specific way without even realizing that my mother might not like that name. Okay, but it's not their fault. We have to be mindful about this second connection, this second hierarchy, this second step, where my child is getting connected, from where his social skills are getting influenced. If you see a behavioral change, then go deep. Go deep and see why there is a change. He never used to shout, but he's shouting now. He never used to refuse eating green vegetables, but he's refusing now. And you will see there is a reason behind. There is a connection which is impacting your child's social skill there. And then the third, the world around. Your children are going to be a part of the world around. They'll go out, work, get education, and they'll get connected socially. They'll make friends, peers, and things like that. That's how we all get connected. So finally, that's the destination. And believe me, if you have a very strong social connection back at home, you will see these people are way calmer at work. These children are very calm at school. They get very easily adjusted in any situation around, because they have a bank back. If they have a problem, they know where to go, how to deal with it. They have guides back at home. They have people who correct them. So you need to be available for your children to tell them that This is how we get connected, and that's the world around. So even if you are, in through some connections that you're feeling disheartened or you don't feel connected, it's fine. It's fine. The entire world is not like that. Sometimes we tag, like, if my child had a bad day at playway and he or she comes back home and I ask them, how was the day? And they tell me, my friend hit me. Oh, they all are like that. No. For you, it might be just another statement. But for your child, it is going to go way deep. It reflects the entire tribe of friends as worthless, not good. So be very, very conscious, picking up, choosing of words when you're communicating about social skills and social connections with your children. Now, there are children who are, socially well connected by birth. They are very well. They are very comfortable with new people. They're very docile. They're very conscious about how I have to greet my elders and how to be around them. But then there are children who are not socially very comfortable in getting connected to people around them. And parents think that this is a problem that can't be solved. His or her nature is that way. He doesn't greet, she doesn't speak. If my friends knock the door, she runs away, she doesn't greet. It's all right. They are children after all. And the more you highlight the problem, less you work upon the solution. I want to request all my parents, if your children are among the ones who are, a little shy or introvert, or they don't go out and greet, and you feel, every time I take him or her out, I feel very embarrassed. So when you tell your children, you're letting me down, you're pushing them further into their shell. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ask them. When you greet somebody, they feel good about it. Is there something that is troubling you or stopping you from greeting somebody? Is there something that you want to share? Believe me, children till the age of 8, they don't even know how to express themselves. They might want to tell you something, but they're not finding the correct words. So you don't have to hush them. You don't have to hush that voice. Rather, give them a helping hand. Try to give words to their expressions and their feelings, and you'll see that the child will open up by saying, you will. During one of my sessions, I remember, I'll share an incident with you, that a mother was facing this problem with her child, and she used to tell me that whenever I ask her to greet my friends, she's always in a very rude way that she greets, or otherwise she will not greet, and she'll go back into her room, and I don't like it. And the later, that when we spoke to the child after 2-3 sittings, that we found out that the child was very upset that whenever the mother's friends are at home, they speak ill about the child's grandmother, and the child feels disconnected. She doesn't want to get connected to people who can't respect her grandmother, which is a valid reason. If you don't respect somebody, if you don't like somebody, you don't want that connection around you. It happens with us also, right? So you have to go a little deep in finding out the reason. If the child is not connecting well, what is wrong? Why the child is not comfortable sharing herself, okay? So speak to them. Now, coming to the most important part of the session, that how are we going to develop and help our children to develop these wonderful, mindful social connections around them. Before that, I just want to tell you that social connections have stages. They grow, they multiply, and it is upon parents to help our children multiply positive relationships, positive social connections, okay? So the first thing is, when a child is trying to connect to you, even before when the child starts speaking or starts expressing, they give you connection hints. through their body language or maybe by crying. They seek attention, and then they observe how you connect with them. If you connect every child with your every time that you're connecting with your children, that you have a frown on your forehead, or you have a loud voice telling them, oh, you keep on crying, you keep troubling me, you'll see when the child will start speaking, he'll speak in the same manner. So even before children get into, they start speaking, they start picking up these hints, these communication hints which you are giving unintentionally. And children who have speech difficulty in speaking, or they learn to speak a little late, or they have a problem of stammering, or children with special need, the thing which I don't like, which is very disheartening, is we give up very soon. We just give up by saying, oh, he can't connect well because he can't express well. We just don't give up like that. If you and me being parents are going to give up, how our children are going to face the world? So don't just become their voice every time. Help them to develop their own voice, their own social skills. Okay, I have seen a few parents becoming so close, so close to their own children that they don't leave any vacuum for any other social connection. They try and fit in every role their child requires around them: a role of a friend, a mentor, a grandparent, a uncle or aunt. You are a parent, but you are not God. So don't try to be one. Our children needs to be connected with different people around them. They need to grow beyond their own parents. So even if you have a special need child, or you have a child who is slow learner, or who haven't started talking yet, try and help them getting connected. If they give you a clue, you see them smiling, if they see somebody, give words to their expressions and tell that person, oh, my child is very happy whenever she sees you. Or my child is trying to say, oh, this uncle is very nice, he speaks in a very nice manner to me, I appreciate that. And this way, if not today, then tomorrow, your child will develop that skill, that courage, that confidence, with that stammering voice, to say hello to that uncle. And that's how being mindful, practicing patience will give you the right fruit. So don't give up. Focus upon their body language. See what they want to express and just help them. Give the words to their expression, and you will see they will wonderfully get connected to people around. Okay. And if you see that your child might had a fight in the park playing with other children, and you see them very sad, or you see them angry, so try and give a voice to these negative expressions as well. Tell them, oh, I am feeling angry today because my friend wasn't sharing something with me. I think I can do something about it. I think I can speak to my friend and request him to share. And you will see that the child will calm down. He won't be angry anymore, because you're helping him vent out. You're helping him to express, and he won't lose that connection. Sometimes you just tell them, let's go from here if he's not playing with you. And you killed the connection. You disconnected the child. Every time when your child will have a connection around him or her who's not going his way, he'll get disconnected. Because you're not teaching them how to work upon relationships, how to work upon, getting socially connected around them. So be very mindful about how you react. Rather, be mindful about responding. Don't react at all. Give yourself time. Think how a child would react, and then give voice to his expressions or her expressions. Okay, now the best way to develop social skills is, like we do during our drama workshops, is when your children are playing. Playing is the best way to teach any skill, any skill. So make a hypothetical situation and play, and teach them that you have to be humble. What if you want the same you want the same t-shirt as your friend have, and you have to go and ask from where has he bought. How will you go? How will you go? How will you approach? And then you teach your child that you have to be humble. Hi, you need to appreciate the t-shirt first, that I really like the t-shirt that you're wearing and I wish to wear the same t-shirt. Can you please tell me from where did you buy it? And when your child is performing well, appreciate. Appreciate. So playway is the best way that you can teach them to be humble. Then with younger children, especially my mothers have this problem that they are not teaching their children patience. We keep conducting parenting sessions that the child is patient enough. You need to be patient as a parent. So you have to teach them to wait for their turn. I have seen parents fighting over my child is going to, slide down first, and my child will not wait for your child to slide down first. And later, if you think about it, you will see that, you ruined 2 hours of playing and just fighting over who's going to slide down. You need to teach your children to practice patience. Wait for your turn. That's how the world is going to work. Not everything is at your command, at your desire. So you need to wait. You need to appreciate that somebody came before you and it's their turn. But at the same time, if you're not getting a chance, then with great confidence, go and ask. The parents are requested not to intervene every time, okay? Let the child develop that skill that if given a situation that the child is bullying, he's not giving your children chance to play, then be behind your children's back and just tell them, go, and humbly tell them that I've been waiting patiently for my turn and let me now go and play on the swing, or let me swing. Okay, and this is how you will see the gradual change, and that's how we teach them to stay connected. The other most important thing which is missing these days in our children is sharing. The best practice to develop a social skill is sharing. Not only that you teach your children to share, teach them to ask for something they want also. So on one hand that you're telling your children, share. Sharing is caring. It's good to share. But on the other hand, it's only your child who's always, goes to the park with a full bucket and have entire group of children around him, seeking for some toy to be shared. Then how is your child to go and seek, how he is going to learn to seek help if he needs tomorrow? You're not teaching him that social skill that it's okay to ask for help. I see so many teenagers facing this problem because now they have developed that ego that they can share, but they will not ask for help, or they will not seek somebody else's sharing something with them. So sharing does not mean one way. On one hand, when you're telling your children that, share your things, it's very good. Appreciate them when they're sharing. But then, twice in a week, ask them, why don't you go and ask your friend to share his bat with you? It's all right. It is okay. If you remember when we were young, it was such a beautiful culture when we all used to play, cricket, that one would buy the wickets, the other would buy a bat, the other one would buy a ball, and other one will buy pads, and all of us will play like one happy team. And you learn so many social skills because you can't refuse anybody from playing because everyone has an important part in the game. Otherwise, you can't play cricket. That's how life is. You like some less, but you have to be with everybody to play a fair game. So don't give your child a bucket full of toys and he goes like a godfather to the park and says, oh, I have everything, I am the Santa Claus of Christmas and I have everything to share. That's one good part. But tell them that asking for help is normal. We used to seek, toys from our friends, and we used to play together with the same set of toys, and tell them. So I do it in my class. I give some and I keep some. I give some and I keep some. And then I tell them that you have some and you're missing some. So get connected. Get connected. So one half to your children and other half to the society is the only way your children are going to get socially connected. If you're giving the bucket full of everything to your child, then how he or she is going to get connected? There is no need. There is no need for me to, get socially connected. I can manage everything from my parents. But that's not the right way to teach your children social skills. So tell them that there is a need to get connected and you seek help. So tomorrow, when they are growing, if they find something going out of their hands, believe me, they will find it so easy to come to you as a parent, or go to a friend or an elder brother or a sister and say, dude, I'm facing this problem. Can you help me? Because you taught them that it's all right to ask for help. So it's very important to teach them this side of life as well. Then, one more thing. We are very gentle parents today, which is a very good thing. At times, we are over gentle. I have seen parents appreciating wrong things in their children because they feel they're too young to be corrected. A child is never too young to be corrected. Your way has to be very human, very loving. That's all. Never appreciate anything wrong in your child. If the child has done something wrong, if the child is not ready to share, it's all right. Do a role play. Do a role play. Come back home, okay, and make something really nice that your child likes to eat, and then simply don't share. And tell your children that you taught me that it's not important to share. So mama has decided that I'm not going to share my food with you today. Okay? And then they go into that situation and feel. And then from there they learn to be empathetic with people around them. They feel the situations and connections around them. So never appreciate anything wrong just by saying that, they're too young to be taught. You can teach them at any age, but with a lot of love. And child is ever ready to learn anything. Okay? Now, after this, one more very interesting thing is children love stories. They love, even I love stories. Okay? So, make your children sit on your lap and tell them stories about how well that you are connecting socially. You are connected to your friends, you are connected to your brothers and sisters, how important it is to have a granny at home, to have any relationship, and tell them your wonderful childhood memories and stories about social connections around you and how your social skills help them. So tell them, I used to bully, but then I realized I couldn't manage to make any friends. And then I decided to change myself. And now I have 3 uncles of yours who are my best friends, who are my best friends. They are my buddies and they are with me thin and thin, thick and thin. It's so good to have friends, isn't it? So teach them through your own personal experiences and tell them the truth. Lead by example. Be respectful towards each other as spouses. Be respectful to elders at home. Be loving to children at home. Be very, very respectful to people who are helping you as domestic help, or your drivers, or people who are helping you on daily basis. You need to respect every connection you have in life. Simple. And children will see and automatically adopt that lifestyle. Beyond this, there are wonderful games that you all can play. Small things that you can do with your children and see that they develop social skills. You can, first thing, you can tell them that pick up a color every morning. Tell them, for today pick up a color. And child would say blue, green, and ask them which connection of yours was wearing blue today. Anybody did you meet, anybody you like today who was wearing blue color today? Did you go and speak to your friend? And you'll see the child will come back home from park very excited. My friend was wearing blue color shirt and I told him that I decided that I'm going to go and meet and talk to people who are wearing blue color shirt, and my best friend was wearing. I'm so happy about it. And then tell them, won't you feel happy when your friend is wearing the same color shirt? Then the other game you can play is do 3 kind things. Okay, make a list of 3 kind things which happened today. any three things, you know. Didi at home made me my favorite cold coffee, or my classmate shared his notebook with me, he shared his notes with me, and ma'am spoke to me very nicely, and I was very happy when she appreciated my work and my writing. And then make them realize that how lucky he or she is to have such brilliant connections in life. How lucky we are that we have people around us who appreciate us. And that's how the child develops a positive attitude in life towards people. Otherwise, you will see all of us are so focused on the negativity among people around us. We remember the worst argument, the worst person we met, the worst things which has happened. What about the goodness? What about the positivity in life? So be very mindful about how you speak to your children. I have seen, you know, people ask when the child is coming back home, what happened with you today? How was the day? Rather change it and ask your children, okay, who was your good friend today? Who was your good friend today? What did you learn from him? Why was that person good to you? And the child will automatically start focusing on the positive side of the person in front. And that's how he'll grow. He'll grow into a positive human being looking at the positive side of connections around him or her. It's a wonderful practice to do with your children. Then we have a thumb rule in parenting, and it's a wonderful thing that we ask children before they, you know, they sleep at night, before they, you know, they, as soon as they hit the bed, just spend some quality time and ask them, what went well with you today? What was the best thing? What was the best thing? You know, the child might talk about, Mama made the best dinner today, or Mama gave me my favorite chocolate today, or, you know, Papa took me out for a bike ride today, or I went swimming, I loved it, or I made a lovely drawing and ma'am appreciated it, and whatever. And the child is going to doze off with a pleasant memory in his mind. It's very important to make a child sleep on a positive note. I have seen parents, you know, unfortunately sometimes yelling at children and, you know, just making it so unpleasant for them to doze off. Don't do that. Just have a lovely light conversation and ask them, what all did good, what good happened to you today in the entire day? What was the best part? Is there anything you want, you know, should be repeated tomorrow? Is there anything? And automatically the child will develop a positive mindset about things around, connections around, people around, and they will start appreciating that the way they are connecting is the right way. The world is full of positivity and good people. Family is important. My connections are important. My boss important. My employee is important. People who are helping me are important. Everybody is important. Everybody deserves respect from me, because they all respect me, they all love me, and I belong here. This is my tribe, this is my fraternity. And that's how you develop, you know, mindful social skills in your children. So this is, I wanted to take you through the mindful social skills, and this is all how you are going to help your children to develop these social skills. Now during this session I had so many messages coming into me. Just give me a moment, let me just read few of them. Yes, so Surija has asked me, hello ma'am, how can we make sure children know whom to be friends with? I think I somewhere answered this, that you need to teach them the good connections and bad connections. For that you need to be very vigilant. Initially, you know, the early 10 years of a child's age, you need to be very vigilant where your child is going, how he or she is getting connected. If you see unnatural attachment overnight, if you see that your child is too attracted, too attached to somebody that you are not very comfortable about, go check that connection. Ask your child, oh really, I love how you speak to that uncle every evening. May I know what is the best thing you like about that uncle? And, you know, don't shout at them or don't get angry. They're children, they don't know that. They don't know if somebody is harming them also. Okay, that's why we are around. So go deep And then if you see that there is something wrong, tell them. Set boundaries for your children. Condition them within those boundaries. But never force, never threaten. It's a wrong way of parenting. Make them understand with love and logic, and they will understand. That's how you make them fragile, conscious about, vigilant about, connections around them. Um, Rashmi is asking me, hello, ma'am, what can be done if my daughter is very shy to talk with other kids? Rashmi, I think we took up this question as well during the session, but if she's shy, it's okay. Some children, we all are born with different natures, okay? So some children are shy by nature and some children are extrovert by nature. That's fine. And help them. She might not be able to express her feelings, or she might be getting bullied by somebody. Spend some time, speak to her that, okay, if I am a new friend at park, and if I want to be friends with you and I'm equally shy, you can't talk, even I can't talk, please come and speak to me once, I want to be friends with you. And you will see the child will, slowly will learn how to open up and then appreciate, wow, you connected really well. If I'll be that other person in the park, I'll be your friend right away. And that's how they will gain confidence. They might be lacking confidence because of something. So just speak to her. Um, okay. What are some of the ways I get my 5-year-old more socially connected? Now it's a post-lockdown COVID era. Situations are tough. But in general, what should I do to foster social skills in my special need 5-year-old? My child has ADHD and unfortunately, okay, some autistic features as speech delay. She has very limited social connections. How can I change, or rather, what do I do to develop social skills? First of all, for getting connected to the world around you, there is no criteria. We all have our own kind of people around. We just need to find them. Sometimes we go and sit with people who are very shy, and we feel that we will never get somebody who will understand us till the time we find somebody who actually does. Same is the case. Find connections around who appreciate your child, and again, help your daughter expressing through words. So if there is a speech delay, it's fine, it's absolutely fine. Through her body gestures and through her facial expressions, try and communicate, give voice to her expressions and get her connected. So if you see that she's very thrilled when she sees children around, then tell those children that you make my daughter very happy, and she is trying to say that she's very happy in your company. Thank you so much for playing. And she's saying even she wants to play with you. And you'll see that slowly and gradually she'll open up. Sometimes, this delay is because we don't have the confidence to make them, get socially connected. We feel that they are not ready, but they are, believe me. You just need to have confidence in them. They need to trust you. Try and express her feelings, and you will see how wonderfully she'll get her tribes. I'm sure about it. I think there are many questions, and we can take, I think, these many questions only. So before we wind up, if you still have any questions, you can go to First Prize page and write your questions. I'll be answering the questions later on also. And if you want to follow us, we have a YouTube channel by the name Dimple at Soul Diets, and we keep you can subscribe. We keep coming out with parenting solutions through mindfulness every week, and we do run parenting sessions with parents and children, and we run a mindfulness based drama club for young children to learn wonderful things mindfully in life. Thank you so much. You all have been lovely audience, and I completely loved the session. I hope you found some solutions and you found a reason to practice mindfulness in life. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.